The snowstorm came without warning that December evening, blanketing the highway in white silence. Marcus Chen gripped the steering wheel of his sedan, his mind still churning through the day's board meeting. As CEO of a mid-sized manufacturing company, the 42-year-old had learned to navigate corporate storms, but tonight nature demanded his full attention. His headlights caught something unusual ahead, a figure standing by the roadside, hunched against the wind. As he slowed, Marcus saw it was a young woman in a nurse's uniform, her thin jacket offering little protection. She was crying, clutching two bundled infants to her chest. He pulled over immediately. "Ma'am, are you all right?" The woman looked up, her face streaked with tears and snow. She appeared to be in her late 20s, with exhausted eyes that held both desperation and determination. "My car broke down 3 miles back," she said, her voice shaking. "Please, my babies are so cold. I've been trying to flag someone down for 20 minutes. Marcus didn't hesitate. "Get in, quickly." She climbed into the passenger seat, carefully adjusting the twin infants in her arms. They were perhaps 6 months old, wearing matching red snowsuits with tiny snowflakes embroidered on them. One was crying softly. The other watched everything with wide, curious eyes. "I'm Marcus," he said, cranking up the heat. "Where were you headed?" "I'm Laura Mitchell." She paused, fresh tears sliding down her cheeks. "Honestly, I don't know anymore. I was driving to my sister's place in Riverside, but she just called. Her apartment building had a fire this morning. Everyone's fine, but there's nowhere for us to stay now." Marcus felt something tighten in his chest. He knew that kind of helplessness. 7 years ago, his wife Emma had died suddenly from an aneurysm, leaving him alone with their 5-year-old daughter, Sophie. He remembered standing in their empty house, holding his crying child, feeling like the world had ended. "What about a hotel?" he asked gently. Laura let out a bitter laugh. "I'm a nursing assistant at County General. I just started 3 months ago after my husband left us. My first paycheck went to rent, and the second to catching up on bills he didn't pay. I have $43 in my account." The twin in her left arm began to fuss. She shifted him gently, whispering soothing words. Marcus noticed her nurse's badge was still clipped to her collar. Laura Mitchell, pediatric ward. "These are James and Emma," she said, nodding to each baby. "My whole world." Marcus's breath caught. "Emma," he repeated softly. "That was my wife's name." Something passed between them then, an unspoken understanding of loss and survival. The snow was falling heavier now. Marcus made a decision that surprised even himself. "I have a guest house," he said. "It's small but warm, with a bedroom and kitchenette. My daughter and I live in the main house. You and the twins can stay there tonight, at least until the storm passes and we figure something out." Laura stared at him. "I can't possibly accept that." "You don't even know me." "You work in pediatrics at County General," Marcus said. "You're a mother doing everything you can for your children." "That tells me enough." He paused. "Besides, it's Christmas in 3 days. Nobody should be alone in a snowstorm at Christmas." 20 minutes later, they pulled into the circular driveway of a comfortable 2-story home. Warm light glowed from the windows. Before Marcus could turn off the engine, the front door flew open and a 12-year-old girl came running out, her dark hair flying. "Dad, you're so late." "I was worried." "I'm fine, sweetheart." Marcus helped Laura from the car. "Sophie, this is Laura and her babies, James and Emma. Their car broke down in the storm. They'll be staying in the guest house for a bit." Sophie's eyes lit up as she peered at the twins. "Real babies. Can I help take care of them?" Over the next hour, Marcus found himself doing something he hadn't done in years, opening his home to strangers who were becoming something more. Sophie brought blankets and helped Laura settle the twins in the guest house. Marcus made hot soup and sandwiches, refusing Laura's protests. "You've already done too much," she said, tears threatening again. "My wife used to say that kindness isn't a ledger we balance," Marcus replied. "It's a current we pass along." That night, lying in the unfamiliar but warm bed, Laura held her sleeping babies and cried. But these were different tears, tears of relief, of unexpected grace, of hope rekindling. The next morning, Marcus made a phone call to his company's HR director. "We have an opening in employee health services, don't we? I know someone who might be perfect." By noon, Laura had an interview scheduled. By evening, she had a job offer with better pay and benefits that included childcare assistance. "I don't understand," she whispered when Marcus told her. "Why would you do all this for someone you just met?" Marcus thought of his wife, of the dark year after her death when friends and strangers had held his family together with small acts of kindness, casseroles, carpools, listening ears. "7 years ago, I was you," he said simply. "Broken down on a different kind of highway, holding my daughter, not knowing how we'd survive. People helped us. This is just the current passing along." 3 days later, on Christmas morning, Sophie knocked on the guest house door. "Laura, bring the babies!" "We're doing presents." Around the tree in Marcus's living room, something extraordinary unfolded. Sophie had wrapped small gifts for the twins, rattles and soft books from her old toy collection. Marcus had quietly bought Laura a warm winter coat, and Laura, with her $43, had bought them each something small but meaningful: a journal for Sophie, a coffee mug for Marcus that read "World's Best Dad." "I know it's not much," she started, but Marcus shook his head. "It's everything," he said. By spring, Laura and the twins had moved into a small apartment near Marcus's company. She excelled at her new job, bringing warmth and competence to the employee health center. Sophie babysat the twins on weekends, forming a bond that filled something empty in all their hearts. Years later, people would ask Marcus why he stopped that snowy night. He never had a simple answer. It wasn't heroism or calculation. It was simply recognizing himself in someone else's desperation and remembering that we all break down sometimes, that we all need someone to pull over and offer warmth. Laura would go on to become the head of employee health services, touching hundreds of lives with her compassion. The twins would grow up knowing the story of the snowstorm, understanding that kindness creates ripples that spread far beyond a single moment. But that Christmas morning, none of them knew the future. They only knew the warmth of the present, the miracle of ordinary kindness, and the truth that sometimes angels arrive not with wings, but with working heaters and guest houses, and hearts willing to make room for strangers who become family. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories of everyday kindness and human connection. Leave a comment below telling us about a time someone showed you unexpected compassion, or how you paid kindness forward to a stranger in need.